Welcome to The Explainer, everyone. Today, we're diving into the incredibly fascinating, intertwined history of Marvel's two greatest armored geniuses, Doctor Doom and Iron Man. We're talking about two men completely defined by the metal they wear, yet totally separated by the fundamental ways they view the world, science, and the future itself. It's an amazing dynamic, so let's get right into it.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with Part 1, the two armored geniuses. Then Part 2, time travel and Camelot. Part 3 covers their uneasy alliances. Part 4 is the infamous Iron Man. And finally, Part 5, their endless metal rivalry.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the two armored geniuses. So right off the bat, we really have to establish the core parallels here, because it's absolutely crucial to understanding their dynamic. On one side, you've got Tony Stark. He's heroic, your ultimate capitalist superhero, relying purely on cutting-edge science and a futurist mindset. On the flip side, you have Victor Von Doom, the autocratic monarch of Latveria. He's villainous, but he uniquely blends advanced science with ancient dark magic. They're essentially two massive egos encased in metal, separated only by their morality and, well, Doom's use of sorcery.
And you can really see that difference in the armor itself. Unlike Tony's sleek suits, which are all about progress and optimization, Doom's heavy iron armor was born out of intense vanity and this deep desire to never, ever be vulnerable again. After a lab explosion left him with just a minor facial scar, Doom's fragile ego was completely shattered. He literally traveled to Tibet, commanded local monks to forge his suit, and then, in pure impatience, he pressed the red-hot iron mask to his face before it had even cooled. It permanently disfigured him and sealed his transformation into Dr. Doom.
Moving right along to Section 2, time travel and Camelot.
Now this is where things get really wild. Back in a classic 1981 storyline, these two are actually thrust back in time to Arthurian Camelot. Doom, being Doom, immediately tries to forge an alliance with the sorceress Morgan Le Fay. His grand plan? To defeat King Arthur using an undead army of revived warriors. Naturally, Iron Man steps in and completely thwarts the plot. So, what happens? Doom is left stranded indefinitely in the past, swearing a deadly, enduring vengeance against Stark. This historic incident really cemented their rivalry, showing exactly what happens when Tony's tech meets Doom's magic.
And this brings us to a really famous quote from Dr. Doom. The future is fluid. It can be changed. I mean, that perfectly captures his relentless drive to bend reality to his will. While Stark is always building for tomorrow, Doom is perfectly willing to rewrite yesterday just to ensure he conquers that tomorrow.
Which brings us to Section 3, enemies making uneasy alliances.
Despite absolutely hating each other, these two pragmatists are occasionally forced to work together, and their dynamic is just incredibly dysfunctional. Take the mighty Avengers' time travel mishap. They return to the present together, but in classic Doom fashion, he literally leaves Tony behind in an exploding castle. Or how about when a demonic Radam Mask goes on a rampage? Doom actually hands Tony the magical wand of Watum. Tony physically traps her in his armor, and Doom exorcises the demon. And during the King in Black invasion, they find themselves fighting a symbiote-possessed Santa Claus. Yes, you heard that right. Tony wins by bonding with an extremist symbiote, but immediately rejects Doom's demands to study the new tech. The tension literally never leaves the room.
Let's move to Section 4, the infamous Iron Man.
Now we arrive at the absolute climax of their relationship, where the lines between hero and villain completely blur. During the Secret Wars event, Doom literally reshapes the multiverse as God Emperor Doom. But shockingly, he finds it completely hollow. Once Mr. Fantastic restores his heavily scarred face, Doom realizes that absolute tyrannical power didn't actually fill the void inside him. So he decides his new calling is to help heal the world.
The timing here is crucial. Tony Stark is defeated by Captain Marvel in Civil War II, leaving him comatose. The world has essentially lost its Iron Man. So Doom, searching for redemption and genuinely inspired by his greatest rival's legacy, steps right into that narrative vacuum. He creates a unique suit blending Stark tech with his own magic, adopts the mantle of the infamous Iron Man, and begins this brutal but genuine campaign for justice.
But doing the right thing rarely goes unpunished, right? Even when trying to protect Stark Industries, tragedy strikes. A coalition of villains targets Doom, refusing to accept his heroic turn. And in a massive final battle against a demon possessing the Hood, we get this incredibly cruel twist of fate. Doom's newly healed face is severely burned all over again. The emotional toll just breaks him. He's forced to retreat to the ruined shadows of Latveria, and his time as a hero is tragically cut short.
Finally, Section 5. an endless metal rivalry.
So what do we take away from this decades-long dance of metal and magic? Well, Doom and Stark are profound narrative mirrors. One uses his genius to empower the world, the other uses it to control it. Yet their relationship evolved way beyond simple hatred into this forced, begrudging respect. The very fact that Victor Von Doom, of all people, chose to step in and preserve Tony Stark's legacy speaks volumes. It proves that the line separating Marvel's greatest hero from its greatest villain is incredibly thin.
I want to leave you with this final thought for today's explainer. If a villain wears a hero's armor and genuinely fights for justice, does that erase his past? Can adopting an enemy's legacy truly redeem you, or are we always bound by the masks we first chose to wear? Doom tried to be Iron Man, to rewrite his destiny, just like he tried to rewrite history in Camelot. But in the end, the scars returned. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and we will see you next time.